What's going on, traders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about a pound Aussie move that moved heavily in my favor and what I'm going to do about it. How did I get into this trade and how do I manage it going forward? We're going to watch the trade start to finish, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video. Okay, traders, so we're here on pound Aussie, taking a look at the 4-hour chart currently, but I wanted to show you guys something that I saw here on the hourly. I dropped it down to the 1-hour chart just a little bit after the last recording, and I drew in this Fibonacci that I'm going to draw right here. You can see if I draw from low to high here, you can see that price is pulling back right around to the 23.6. Now, this is not, in my opinion, the most significant Fibonacci level. I would stick to primarily my favorite ones are the 38.2, the 50%, and the 61.8. Now, what we are currently seeing, however, though, is we're seeing buyers step in and buy at the 23.6, which should potentially mean that buyers are very, very willing to buy. So if we see the market rally from here, that's a very bullish signal, and I'll tell you why. What that means is that the retracement here would be very, very shallow before buyers resumed pushing price up. A lot of times you see price come down to at least the 38.2 before buyers step in and continue a market move. But in this case, if we see that 23.6, now I don't know that this is going to happen, but if the 23.6 does hold and we start to see the rally continue, that could show a lot of bullishness and would even further allow me to move my stop more aggressively. I'm not saying that this is exactly where the price is going to pull back and stop, but if it did continue, right, if we started to break through structure off of this move, my idea might be to move my stop underneath the new structure low. That would be a great improvement, at least in my adding to the potential reward and taking off the risk. If we see this market continue higher, that would definitely lock in some more profits. That'd be probably a lot more than what we currently have, which is again right around about $32 of potential profit, 47.5 pips. That would be another, let's say if we moved, let's just assuming that this is kind of our low, that would add another 75 pips to the overall trade in terms of locked in profits on top of our already 48 pips there. So that's just kind of what I'm observing here in terms of pound Aussie, looking at the hourly chart, watching this 23.6 to see, hey, is this level going to hold and are we going to go bullish? And if so, if we break through the highs, that might be a really good indicator for me to move my stop to the next structure low. We'll see what we get, guys. Just a quick update there on pound Aussie. Okay, traders, so a little update here on pound Aussie. That level that we talked about actually ended up holding beautifully. You can see the 23.6 actually did form a low and we shot to the upside there. I am looking to move my stop here. It's just a little bit before lunch and I'd like to lock in a little bit more on this trade. And I'm gonna actually use a minor level here to kind of decide where I move this stop. What you'll notice here is that we had a little bit of consolidation here. We had a little minor pullback and it ultimately shot up to continue to the upside. I'm actually going to move my stop just shy of that area to see if we can just get price to move a little bit more in our favor. What you'll see here is that I'm basically just going to move my stop just around to this low here. And from there, this should kind of be my next level of where I'm going to move my stop here. So I've just moved my stop for about a $63.53 profit if price decides to come up. That's a 94 pip winner. If price pulls back and takes me out here, I'd still be happy with that if that ended up happening. No big deal. But I also like that that gives me the 38.2, just shy of it, to hold that level if price decides to actually pull back. And I may be looking to increase my stop loss once again at the next point, which would be a break above this structure. But we'll see if we can get that. If not, if price decides to roll over, no big deal. This is still a nice winner here on the account, and I'm very happy with how things are going so far. We'll see. I'm gonna start, as price starts to break higher, I'll be more aggressive with moving my stop into profit because I do want to lock in as much as possible on this trade. We'll see what we get here on pound Aussie. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back with an update soon. So one other thing that I forgot to mention here on the trade is that you can see down here, we do actually have a take profit set, and there's a reason for this. Now you'll notice that that take profit is extremely far away. This would be a winner of 340 pips of $230. That is quite big for this small account where I'm kind of testing my concepts. You can see it is a live account, so it would be a significant amount of money if price decided to jump all the way up there. That'd be awesome, but that is not necessarily my only target. So again, what I mentioned is that I'm trailing my stop, But I wanted to put in, and this is another tip that, I use, at least in my own trading, is if I don't have a target, sometimes what I'll do is I will just put a way out of the way take profit, just in case price decides to jump like that or spikes overnight, right? So if we saw something like this, where we just saw like a flash crash, or we saw something crazy like that, and it decides to go in my direction, well, in that case, I just want to be able to capture that movement and take profit there overnight. So I had this move in here, or this take profit, but that's not necessarily where I'm targeting per se. It's just a level of the trade that I would take profits off if it decided to jump up to that point. So I know some of you guys might have seen that earlier in the video. There is a take profit here up at the top, but it is not necessarily where I have to see price go in order to get out of the trade. In fact, what we're doing is still just trailing that stop and seeing where the price decides to go. Up about $100 there on the trade right now. We'll see if we can capture a little bit more of the move. Okay, traders, so pound Aussie still moving in our favor very nicely here, and it is just about ready to have me move my stops. You can see price came down into this area. We held that 23.6 level just as we had talked about very, very nicely. Price rallied from there, and now actually coming into kind of the recent structure highs right around this area. At this point, what I'm going to do is, it is in the evening now, I'm going to move my stop again a little bit further into profit. Now, what you can see is last time we moved it, we were up 94 pips on the trade, an overall loss at this point. I'm not really even a loss. If price were to come back and tag us out of the trade, it would be a $63.53 winner. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically move my stop here right into this point there. What this is going to do at this point is this is going to be locking in 130 pips here on the trade. Now, you might ask, well, why are you putting it right here at the bottom of this support zone? Well, what I'm looking for is this momentum to either continue or to get me out of the trade. If it decides to pull back, then no big deal. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna move on with the trade. But from here, I may move my stop a little bit further into profit, depending on what the market decides to do. I don't wanna get too close to price with my stop loss. I would like to give this trade the chance to break out and continue higher if that is in fact where it would wanna go. I mean, ideally, if it got up to this ultimate take profit, that would be amazing, but I'm not gonna push my luck. I'm just gonna take what the market gives me here on this trade. And so far, so good. I did move up my stop, and so I don't really want to see markets kind of retrace too much in this case. So if price were to come down and start to break that 23.6 level, if we were to start to see a lower low there, then I'd probably just want to get out of the trade. No big deal, and I would just move on. But for now, market's still looking very bullish here on pound Aussie. We're looking at the 1 hour chart. We are currently trading in a consolidation zone here, and as we come into the London session and the Asian session at this time, we could see the continuation of this move. If not, if price starts to reverse, then you know what? I'm just gonna close out the trade, take my profit, and move on to another trade. No big deal. Guys, I'll be back with you soon with an update. What's up, traders? So I am out of the trade. This trade went really, really well. We did end up pulling back a little bit further and getting tagged out of the trade. Let me show you guys a little bit. We'll go back to the 1 hour chart. You can see that we did start to dip here on GBP Aussie. In fact, we came up to this area, we tagged it once more and really kind of formed a double top there before reversing, forming that lower low and continuing down. So to me, there's some bearish signs or bearish potential here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm out of the trade already. You can see that I took profits right around here. So my stop loss got triggered on the pullback here, which I'm not regretful at all. A lot of times people would say just take a profit up here on a YouTube video because again, they know what's going to happen in hindsight. And it was very obvious when it was happening in hindsight, but it's very difficult when it's happening in the moment to know exactly where the top is. This market very could have easily continued to the upward direction and let me continue to trail that stop. But I'm not salty, I'm not unhappy, I'm very gracious for this trade. This was a really nice trade and definitely a winner that was definitely needed. I've had some losers recently, so this is definitely a good step in the right direction. And that's the reality of trading, is that no matter how good you are at trading, there's times where you lose a couple in a row and things get a little bit tougher. Even if you think you're the best in the world, there's times where you're wrong. And so lately I've had a couple drawdown trades, and now what you can see is that we did catch a nice winner here. This is not a big account, so this $100 or so gain, I think it was like $90, we'll pop it up on the screen here. This gain right here was definitely a needed winner and not bad at all for this account size. This is kind of a test account where I'm just testing out a new variation of a concept or strategy that I've been doing some testing on. You can see the market is pulling back here, so I'm really not too, I'm pretty fine with the fact that I'm out of this trade. I think that we got a good bit of running out of this. The kind of the natural instinct is to want to take profit as soon as price moves in your direction. And you know, we might have missed out on some of the upside by doing that. Now, did we capture all of the upside? No, we didn't. And that's the point, is it's a little bit frustrating for some traders to try and trail their stop, because then they see that, I think at this point I was up about $135 to $140 on this small account. So at this point I was up 145, let's say. Ended up closing the trade for a lot less than, I think it's like in the range of 90 to 95. So let's say 90. So if we're up $90 on the trade here, then you know what? I'm still happy with that. I still took a nice profit, and I had room to run on this market. So if price decides to keep going, or decided to keep going, I could have caught a bigger winner. So at this point, when price started to pull back and caught me out, you may have thought, well, you look stupid because now the market looks like it's going to keep going up, and your stop loss was too tight. But I was very happy with where my stop was, this area right here, just below this structure. I figured, you know, if price decides to break that, we have chances to keep going back down, and I'd like to just cash in at that point. So out of the trade there for a nice profit. I'm very happy with how this trade went. I hope that you got something out of these videos. If you like the videos where I trade live and I walk through steps as I'm trading, make sure to give this video a thumbs up down below. It really does go a long way to show that the content is being appreciated by you guys. Thanks very much, and we'll see you back next time.